Good day, everybody, and welcome back to Route 66. We're currently in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we're going to continue flying along the old Route 66, heading westwards in the western New Mexico over to Grant. It's not going to be a long flight, but we're going to get a look at Albuquerque from the air and then carry on into western New Mexico. Hello to Kevin. You can see his DC-3 sitting off there in the distance. And we might as well get going. Winds aren't too bad here. They're out of the southeast. Currently, well, it says variable gusting to 15, but the winds are southeast. So we're going to be taking off on runway 12, so it's a short taxi. Then we'll make a left turn and circle over New Mexico itself and get a look at it from the air. So let's hop onto the cockpit and we'll get ourselves all set up. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is get rid of the steering wheel there. Turn on the batteries, and I'll get avionics 1 on as well. Mixture can go fully rich, and we'll crack the throttle. I'm going to turn on our nav light and our beacon lights. We'll turn on the fuel pump. Get some fuel into the engine, prime it up. Fuel pump off. And we are ready to start. There we go, we got engine start. We'll come on avionics 2. And there we go. Of course, we're running the improved G1000 from Working Title. There we go, everything is up and running. We'll take a look at our baro. Currently is showing 3007. So we'll set that. Or is it this one? That's this one. 3007 is set. Bring the engine up to about 1,000 RPM or so. 900 to 1,000. We do have a bit of elevation on us here as well. We got to bear that in mind. 5,300 feet for when we take off. We're going to be down on engine performance, so we're going to want to use the mixture to trim it out slightly. First, we're going to come over here, and I'm going to set up a quick route from our location out to where we are headed. Alright, so let's go down here. We are at Kilo Alpha Bravo, Quebec. Albuquerque. And the runway we are going to take is runway 12. Not that it really matters. And no en route points because we're going to be just following the ground. And we are at Kilo. Going to Kilo Golf November Tango. Grants, New Mexico. Go backwards. There we go. And it's about 64 miles away. Runway. We are going to land. Let me see what the weather's like there. Probably similar because it's not too far away. 110. That should put us onto runway 13. There we go. And we'll enter that in. So there's our route. So we're going to be taking off this way, and then we're going to circle around the city and then head off to intercept Route 66. And we'll be following that out as we go. Zoom out a little bit. There we go. We'll go to something like that. And There we go, 15-mile range. That's good. All right, so we are warmed up. I think I can hear Kevin running over there. Yeah, I can see he's up and running. So I'm going to taxi out. We'll taxi past Kevin and then head out Echo 1 to the holding point for runway 12. Just get a nice decent view here. Parking brake can come off. We're going to make a heavy right turn, avoid the cart. There we go. We got our taxi light on. A little bit of brake here. This is Gulf 1 ahead, but we're going to stay on the apron. Well, no, we can go out to Gulf. Taxi down that way. So it's nice seeing all of the scenery out here, out in the American Southwest, the desert area. See the mountains over there. Last couple episodes, we kind of skirted off Route 66 and took a look at some of the mountains up around Santa Fe. But now we're back to following the road. We're going to be following it westwards. This will take us out to western New Mexico, and the next one after that will take us, I believe we go into Arizona at that point, which is pretty cool. We're making time, heading out towards the Pacific coast. A little bit more power here. Friday's stream is not 100% confirmed yet. If we do it, we'll be flying down to New Zealand in the Phoenix A320. More information will come up on the Discord if I have to cancel it, but as it stands right now, that is the plan. We'll see what happens. Oh, looks like Kevin's going to beat me there. I think he's going to wait for me. He is faster than me, so that's not a problem. Alright, so as we wind up, we can start getting ourselves ready to go. We're going to go notch 1 on the flaps. Fishy Finn over on Twitch, hello. Good to see you today. Hope you're doing well. We'll get ourselves up to the hold short line and we'll stop, and then we can get ready to go. We'll get the flaps down. There's Kevin in his Pan Am DC-3. Pretty much cloudless sky out here. It did say there was a few clouds in the area, but not seeing anything right now. What I am going to do is when we get into position here, I'm going to hit the brakes. We'll do the lights, landing lights and strobes, and then I'm going to bring the engine up to about 1800 RPM, and then I'm going to lean out the mixture until I get it up to peak performance. So we're ready for the takeoff. Alright, so parking brake is set. We'll go landing lights on, taxi lights off, strobe lights on. I'm going to bring the engine up to about 1500 RPM. Now she's currently leaned out, or sorry, full mixture at the moment. There's 1500 RPM. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start easing back on the mixture. We'll see the RPMs increasing as the fuel air mixture becomes better and better. Keep her going 1600. I want to keep pulling back, leaning out the fuel until I get a drop. There's the drop. So I'm going to bring it to about 1600 and just leave her there. So I'm just shy of what they call lean of peak, which is where I want to be. So just shy of the perfect amount of fuel for the amount of air going in. But that's giving me a really good power setting now. Almost, what was it, 110 extra RPM on the prop. Alright, so parking brake can come off. We're going to move out, take position. It's a hard right turn here. Again, there's the airport. We're going to take off, making a left-hand turn out around Albuquerque before we pick up the highway. That's the other runway there, east-west. We want the northwest-southeast one here, runway 12. It's identified, and we are good to go. So lights are set, flaps are set, and we are good. And it's going to be full power here, given our altitude. Don't have to worry about overspeeding the engine, and we're not going to reach it. And away we go. Airspeed's live. We're going to go up to about 8,000 feet, but we'll set that once we're in the air. Alright, there's 55 knots, adding in a little bit of back pressure. And up we go in this thin air. Just gonna hold it up. I'm gonna climb at about 70 knots or so. I'm gonna dial in about 8,000 on the altimeter now. There we go. 75 knots coming up. So we'll go, where's my heading? Click there for heading. We'll go autopilot, heading, flight level change. It should hold the speed. Flaps up. Should get about 450 feet per minute on the climb. It's going to be a little bit bumpy. We came in last time around this way and landed on the western runway. And there's Kevin taking off there. So what we can do is make our turn over the city now. It's going to stay in the cockpit for a minute. So we're going to see how we're doing altitude-wise. In very deserty area, not a terrain or landscape that I'm very familiar with. Head up at 030. So it does look alien to me. But here is Albuquerque, New Mexico. We are going to fly over the Petroglyph National Monument, which is a fairly well-known park. There's lots of native markings on the rocks and stuff there from the not sure which tribes would have been down here. I think the Pueblo definitely, and some of the other native tribes. But apparently a great place to see these types of things if you're in the area. See another high school down below. Yeah, very flat until you get to these mountain formations here. Yeah, we're still slowly climbing up to 8,000 feet. So up ahead here we have the main highway, that's Interstate 40, coming in from the east and then cutting through New Mexico here in Albuquerque. There's the DC-6 coming in. turn the landing lights off now. So once we cross over the interstate here, we'll kind of head northwest, come around the top end of the city, and then the national park is somewhere over here. We'll just see what we can see from the air. You might not want to fly in formation. I'm going to be a little bit slower than you, and could hold you back a little bit. Once we're up to 8,000, we'll re-lean the mixture. Oh, there's another school. You can baseball diamonds. Looks like a track and field track, and then of course a football, probably a soccer here as well. It looks like a fairly big school actually. It's apparently Academy Acres. Alright, let's make our turn to the west now. Should be coming up for 8,000 feet. So we'll head off at about 285. So what I'm going to do is bring the power back to 250. And then I'm just going to lean the engine a little bit more. There's the drop. A little bit. There we go. Yeah, we're right at peak performance of fuel burn, which means I'm minimizing fuel burn while getting the best performance of the engine that I can get. Alright, so we're now flying north of the I-40. Yeah, it looks like there's a Pueblo Indian Cultural Center, so it must be the Pueblo Indians that created the monuments in Monument Valley, or the Petroglyphs as they call them. We're at the 270 now. Still pretty bumpy. What's our outside air temperature? 16 degrees at 8,000 feet. So yeah, we're getting some heat thermals coming off the ground. There's Kevin back there. Of course, there's the airport we just took off from. So, looks like Albuquerque's tucked into the west side of this mountain range. We came down here from Santa Fe. That's the Rio Grande. We're going to be crossing over. Right there. And there's interesting little four-leaf clover type of setup for baseball diamonds. And right here in front of us is the Petroglyph National Monument. We're going to look at it from the air in a minute. Huge interchange here between the Interstate 25 and Interstate 40. It's kind of your main east-west, north-south interchanges. Checking out the roads here. Yeah, this is the park here. There's actually an airport here. Looks like it is right here. Small little airport at the edge of the park. I'm not going to see much from up here, but I guess all those rock carvings and petroglyphs are all written in the cliff faces here. Alright, so we're going to turn to southwest heading now. We'll pick up I-40 leaving Albuquerque, and that is kind of where the old Route 66 used to be. Looks like that airstrip is in the sim, but it'd be down there. You can see kind of the photo of it. Oh no, there's the airport. Right there. It's right inside the park. A very rugged area. We're going to head down here. Here's I-40. We're going to pick it up, follow it out into the desert as we head off towards Grants. Now, there's a bunch of waypoints and stuff in the area that, you know, are part of the Route 66 route and stuff, but they're all off the main road, so we're not going to go down and see them. Let's stick with the main road. We're heading down to it now. Some odd photogrammetry terrain detail mismatches there. Some of it's a little bit blurrier than others. There we go. The route we're following. There we're leaving Albuquerque. So the airport elevation at Grants is 6,537 feet. Albuquerque was 6,355 feet tall. The airport we're going to is over 1,200 feet higher in elevation, so we're still climbing up. The terrain is rising. So we should be okay at 8,000, although I don't know what we're going to be crossing as we head down there. Yeah, it is right. I don't know if that's a ridge line or if it's the main baseline of the terrain rising up. It's interesting just how high it actually is down here. I mean, I knew it was like a little bit higher, but I didn't believe. Like, I know in the prairies up in Canada, it's like 2,500, 3,000 feet. I didn't realize it was almost 5,000, 6,000 feet down here. I think the whole area is lifted up a bit, which is kind of interesting. So we're 50 miles direct distance to Grants, but we're not going directly there. We're kind of looping under it and then curving back up towards it as we follow the old route here. This is the Route 66 Travel Center coming up on the left, and the big building is not the Travel Center. Well, I think this is the Travel Center, and I think this is the Route 66 Casino Hotel. Not a lot of anything else around here. We are coming up to a little community, sort of. But there's not an awful lot down here. See, we're getting bounced around with the turbulence. This is what I wanted to see when we were flying down here, get a look at this landscape, which is pretty amazing. There's Albuquerque back over there. I think we are heading sort of into the bottom end of the Rocky Mountains. This whole area here could be as a result of those plates coming together. So the weather's holding. I mean, well, I guess there's our few cloud off on the eastern horizon there. And it's not as windy as it's been the past couple flights we've made, where we've been up to 35 knot gusts, so it's a bit of a nice change here. Decent ground speed today. I think we've got a little bit of a push. That wind out of the southeast. Yeah, we're kind of early afternoon for flying down here. I'm sure this is not the time you want to be doing it. Too much heat thermals coming off the ground. Be kind of like ballooning. You'd want to be doing early morning, early evening flights. Stay out of the heat of the midday. On the tourist maps, they show a bunch of places down here you can go, but I don't think the route actually went there. I think they're just tourist places that have come up. Just following the original road here. Just going to come down and then make a turn along this way. So there's a little community down here, Highland Meadows. Not a lot here. I don't think there's huge population densities once you get out of the main towns down around this area. I'm assuming there's got to be cattle farms. Couldn't be much else though. Not a lot down here. This is where that little community is. There's a couple little buildings. But we're going to edge to the right, keep following along the route. Definitely looks like we'll be going through some higher terrain shortly. Although you can see the terrain starting to lift over on this side as well. Very dramatic out there. There's that community. Highland Meadows. Well, they're in high lands, that's for sure. A lot of red oxidization on the ground. looks like there's a series of steps up here to the high ground. Not sure how far into it we're going to be going. Should be seeing another river here shortly. Let's see if I can find out what it is. It is the Arroyo Conchas. There she is, right there. So a couple small communities coming up as well. It's funny, we were passing the little Pueblo Indian cultural center back there in Albuquerque and all that stuff, but I know Pueblo isn't, the town of Pueblo is in Colorado. Just wondering how big the Pueblo Indian footprint was. Sort of going to follow the river here. The road. Passed over the rail lines. About halfway to Grants. Turn here. Just off our right wing, we have the little town of Mesita. That's it here. Mesita. Definitely starting to see some of the more dramatic terrain changes here. And we'll come around the top here. Very dramatic scenery. Coming up now is the town of Laguna. You have very small communities down here. Definitely see the terrain rising. Looks like the old Route 66 goes up through the little valley here. "26 miles out from the airport. So because we're going to be landing to the southeast, I think we're going to come in, aim south of the airport, and do a right-hand turn into the left downwind pattern. If that makes sense. See where we go. Little town of what's this called? Paraye. That's up over here. I'm not sure what this is. No community, but it must be part of this town here. Oh, I hear engines. Interesting little mound coming up we're going to go around. Over here we got the little, oh, this is interesting, we got the flat here, a very rugged climb up to a plateau, and then a real kind of like a sharp rise up to this plateau over here. It's a little town of Sima. Follow the road around this little hill here. Definitely got a bunch of communities built up along this this road. Very small communities though, as you can see from the air. Got North Aquameda Village, Aquameda Lake, San Fidel, Cubero, Alaska, Skyline, Grapina. All little communities right up around here. That is an interesting little landmark here. I don't know if that's supposed to be snow on there or if it's like a white rock, but we're up fairly high. Could still be snow this time of year. That's the Sky City Casino coming off the nose. Coming in on the left is Aquameda Lake. This little community is North Aquameda Village, right in there. high ground to the north. DC3 to the east. Rather unhospitable terrain all around. So I think the airport is going to be on the other side. Grant should be over this ridge line, the near one coming up. So the airport should be in that flat area, and I think next time we got to go over that far ridge. We might be heading up over 10,000 feet for that one. We're going to keep the engine lean for landing, just to make sure we got enough power if we need it. Just go south of the ridge line here. And I think we make a turn northwest after it and go into that flat area beyond. Definitely getting bounced around. Only 15 miles to go. We're going to be flying over the Almapas National Monument Visitor Center. Very rugged area by the looks of it. I think it kind of forms that southern edge of here after we come around this corner. So it's kind of all this area here down towards the south. This National Monument, National Park area. Looks like the airport is going to be on the south side of the highway. I think I can kind of start to make it out up there. Let's follow this around. I think we'll just stay to the right of the highway, and that'll put us in on downwind. Again, airport elevation is 6540. We're landing on 1-3. Then it's going to be a left-hand turn off. Yeah, not a lot of rivers out this way. There are a couple. This is also, I believe it's topaz mining area. A lot of the native tribes sell it, and it's a bluish color, so it could be what you're seeing. You know, that blue tinge to the rock. So this is all the National Monument Visitor Center. Well, it's a very flat area in here after all the terrain we've been over. Interesting. I'm really amazed by the way the terrain out here. It looks fantastic. Alright, so we're going to dial down to 7,500. So we're coming down. The airport's going to be off on our left. Looks like it's a paved runway. Alright, so landing lights can come on. Should be out here. Actually, I think it's right up on that curve there. I'll bring the power up, 2,500. Keep that speed up. Avoid the higher terrain here. To the right. There's the airport right there on that curve. So we're going to be slightly, well, we're going to turn in, kind of cut the corner a little bit around the high terrain. There's the strip there. It's a narrow one. Alright, should be fine there. Yeah, there's the end of the runway. Or the opposing runway anyway. Fly by the houses. 133 is the heading for the runway. Just follow out a little bit to give ourselves some room to swing around. Alright, so power coming back. Just tag our heading so we can use it as a reference point. Autopilot off. Let's start pulling the power. Make our initial turn. We're just going to do a one continual curve. There's is 85 knots, flaps 1. Now power up. Hold the speed at about 75-ish as we come around. And there's the runway. Oh, flaps 2. Bring the power right back. Get a good descent rate going. We're just going to S-turn ourselves in. Bring that power all the way down. Start getting her slowed up. We'll go flaps 3. .65 knots. 66, not bad. Don't want to get it below 60 in this thin air. Winds are variable out of the southeast. They were like 8 to 15 gusting, but kind of swinging all over the place. Looks like they're slightly off to the right at the moment. So a bit of a right crosswind. Come on, get her down. There we go. We'll roll down, we'll get off at A4. She was kind of swinging around on us as we came in at the end there, but generally speaking, it was about a 25 degree right-hand crosswind. Go. So landing lights off, strobe lights off, taxi lights are on. Watch Kevin coming in. I'll get the flaps up. We'll head down to the apron. She had a tendency to float for me. Took a little bit to get her down. Alright, looks like he's got her down. Well, welcome to Grants, New Mexico. We're out in the western part of New Mexico, and on the next leg we'll be heading into Arizona as we continue our westward trek across the old Route 66. Very beautiful scenic country up here. Don't want her to poop out on me. Yeah, I felt it. Yeah, I felt it swinging me around a little bit as well. Definitely variable. Where's my guide? There he is. Turn off the taxi light. And here we are. So parking brake is on. Kill the mixture. Throttle. Lights are all off. Avionics and electrics. And there's Kevin joining us at the end. Well, thanks for coming along on this leg. It's a bit of a trek we're making across the U.S. from Chicago to just outside Los Angeles, California. And we're getting there. It's been quite the haul. Leg 13, we're in New Mexico. Hope you can join us for the rest of the adventure as we carry on over the summer. And we will see you all on the next one. Kevin, thank you for flying with us. If you're interested in joining us, you are more than welcome. You can always come in on the Discord and jump on board. The information for the flights are posted there. And all my live streams are either multiplayer or on VATSIM. And everyone is welcome to join in. So we'll just wait for that to pop up. There we go. So we will all see you on the next one. Have a good day. Bye for now.